It's incredibly rare for something to be so masterfully crafted that the world feels real. The characters seem like lifelong friends, and when the story finally concludes, you immediately want to start it all over again. When an experience is so powerful that it lasts with you years later, and you still think and ponder on the universe and what events are still transpiring despite your console being off, that is when an experience can be deemed as not just a good time, but a journey and event that everyone needs to go through, at least once in their life. The Mass Effect Trilogy is one of these experiences, through its universe, story, characters, music, gameplay, and themes. Mass Effect is not just one of the best gaming trilogies, but one of the best pieces of entertainment crafted across all mediums, and of all time. My name is Keanu Miller, and today I'm here to tell you why these 6 reasons make Mass Effect the greatest entertainment experience out there. As always, there are timestamps down below for each section, and for your convenience. And since this is part 1 of 3, be sure to be on the lookout for the other 2 parts when they're released. And if you liked the video and you want to see more like it, then be sure to leave a like, share the video, and hit that subscribe button. With that said, let's dive headfirst into one of the most important core pillars of creating a believable narrative. Mass Effect is one of the most infamous games in gaming culture. Despite some of the flack Andromeda has brought upon the franchise, it is widely regarded as having one of the best sci-fi universes ever created. While the different games in the trilogy vary in some areas, there is one aspect that was exceptionally well done across all 3 games. This truly is a universe so richly detailed and full of life that it rivals the likes of Star Wars. This was the goal of Casey Hudson and his team over at BioWare when they sought out to craft their own IP in the sci-fi genre. And over the course of 3 to 4 years and 130 employees later, the Mass Effect universe was born. And even now, all these years after the trilogy has ended, it still stands as the golden standard. The trilogy's focus and attention to detail on the various alien races and the atmosphere and feel of each location all help to cultivate this amazing universe. Now, when discussing the species of Mass Effect, there are far too many to cover all of them here, so I'll be focusing on the species that have the most importance in the narrative. This includes the Asari, Turians, Salarians, Quarians, Krogan, Geth, and the Reapers.
Welcome, I am Naylina. I don't recognize you as one of our expected clients today.
The Asari originate from the planet Thessia, and are often considered the most influential and respected species in the galaxy. They are widely known for their elegance, diplomacy, biotic abilities, and 1,000-year lifespan. They are also a monogender race that is distinctly female in appearance, but possess a very unique physiology. They are able to reproduce with a partner of any gender or species, but the offspring will always be Asari. Don't let their beauty and intelligence fool you though. They are just as good at their combat skills as they are with their minds. The Asari were also one of the first species to arise, and due to the high concentration of Element Zero on the Asari's home planet, every Asari is born with the natural ability to create and manipulate Mass Effect fields. This allows them to be powerful biotic users, meaning that even without any weapons, any Asari might be a threat.
Well, you're not a Geth, and you're not wearing a lab coat. I guess I'm glad to see you. Lieutenant Gonto Imnes of the 3rd Infiltration Regiment, captured during recon.
Next up we have the Salarians, who are native to the planet Surkesh. They are known for their non-linear thinking and excel at experimenting and inventing. They also possess a hyperactive form, meaning they think fast, talk fast, and move fast. Unfortunately, this metabolic speed severely affects their body and lifespan, meaning they rarely live over the age of 40. They make the most of this limited time though, as their intelligence and brilliance is unmatched. Fighting a Salarian in the field will probably be an easy victory for the other races, due to the Salarian's small frame and weak strength, but most Salarians will find a way to win before their opponent even steps out on the battlefield.
Your people are still newcomers, Shepard. The galaxy can be a very dangerous place. Is the Alliance truly ready for this?
Speaking of militaristic genius and battlefield strategy is the Turians. Turians originate from the planet Palaven and are a highly disciplined and honored culture, with well-trained soldiers, powerful starships, and the confidence and charisma needed to achieve their goal. This avian-featured species garnered a lot of goodwill from other species due to their public service-like ethics, but can at times be seen as rigid or imperialistic.
Fisk told us to take you down if you showed up. What are you waiting for? I'm standing right here. This is Fisk's only chance. If he's smart, he'll take it.
In terms of sheer brute force and unmatched field combat efficiency, we have the Krogan. The Krogan came from the planet Tuchanka and are widely known due to their immense size and strength due to living on a very hostile and dangerous environment. The Krogan have evolved into a race of individuals that are very difficult to kill. The Krogan's body is built like a death machine, with multiple copies of vital organs, and they will fight till either they or their enemy is defeated. There is no draw with the Krogan. They can also breed at an astonishing rate, which led to the other species of the galaxy effectively altering the Krogan's physiology, so that most of their offspring will not survive birth in a disease called the genophage. The other species all had this done to the Krogan because while the Krogan's combat efficiency is helpful for conflicts, their fast breeding and overcrowding quickly deprived their homeworld of resources, meaning they always ended up needing just one more planet to have enough room. Which in turn would mean if the Krogan continued their galactic expansion, the other species would all soon become nomadic.
Shepard is right! Tali saved me. She doesn't deserve to be exiled.
You're pissing on everything I fought for, everything Tali fought for. So if you exile her, you might as well do the same to me.
Me too.
The Quarians are an example of a nomadic species. They are known for their adept skills of technology and synthetic intelligence. The Quarians live in a huge fleet collection known as the Migrant Fleet, due to having their homeworld taken over by a synthetic race called the Geth, that they themselves created. But their most distinguishing aspect is their immune system. Their weak immune system was compounded by centuries of living in sterile environments, and as a result, all Quarians dress in highly sophisticated suits to protect them from disease or infection from all habitats. They can be a very charismatic, kind, and intelligent race, but their arrogance and pride has continued to hold back their full potential.
You said my name aboard the Reaper. Have we met?
We know of you.
You mean I've fought a lot of Geth?
We have never met.
No, you and I haven't. But I've met other Geth.
We are all Geth, and we have not met you. You are Shepard, Commander, Alliance, human, fought heretics, killed by collectors, rediscovered on the old machine.
The Geth are a synthetic species, created by the Quarians as laborers and tools of war. They are best known for their networked intelligence, which allows them to share processing and make more room for higher thought and complex reasoning. This eventually allowed the Geth to become sentient and question their masters, who then tried to exterminate them. The Geth won the war due to their shared networking and incredible reflexes during combat and warfare. The Geth in their history have become a synonymous warning for the galaxy of the potential dangers of artificial intelligence and the dangers of synthetic repression of AI. Unfortunately though, even lacking bone and flesh still doesn't exempt the Geth from becoming indoctrinated by the Reapers.
You know who I am?
Harbinger speaks of you. You resist, but you will fail. The cycle must continue.
The Reapers are a highly advanced machine race of synthetic organic hybrid starships. They reside in dark space, which is a vast starless space between galaxies, and hibernate until every 50,000 years when they return to the galaxy. These giant machines are ancient, and their origins are complicated to say the least, as they themselves claim they have neither a beginning nor an end.
Reaper, a label created by the Protheans to give voice to their destruction. In the end, what they chose to call us is irrelevant. We simply are.
The Protheans vanished 50,000 years ago. You couldn't have been there. It's impossible.
Organic life is nothing but a genetic mutation. An accident. Your lives are measured in years and decades. You wither and die. We are eternal, the pinnacle of evolution and existence. Before us, you are nothing. Your extinction is inevitable. We are the end of everything.
They resemble a squid and are absolutely massive in size, and contain powerful weaponry capable of destroying almost anything that gets in their way. Now, as such detailed and thought out species, there needs to be an equally believable location for them to live in and explore.
Look at the size of that ship.
The Ascension, flagship of the Citadel fleet.
Well, size isn't everything.
Why so touchy, Joker?
The worlds and environments in Mass Effect are immediately recognizable, not because they have some uniformity that spans across them, but because they are so well detailed that they look like real locations species have lived in. Throughout the entire trilogy, you will travel to an expansive list of locales. While the franchise does have several bland areas due to some optional fetch and exploration quests, the majority of your time outside of missions will be spent in hub worlds. So to start off, let's talk about the major hub world across all 3 games, the Citadel. The Citadel is a colossal deep space station with several branching arms that serves as the capital of the Citadel Council and applies simulated gravity through rotation. Here all races come together to create a galactic community. In the first Mass Effect game, the Citadel is absolutely massive, leading I and many other players to get lost. It can actually take hours to explore and see everything that this hub world has to offer, even when ignoring the huge amount of quests that it contains. This place feels alive and sets a truly astonishing mood with a ridiculous amount of lore in it for those willing to dig for it. There are so many shops, casinos, clubs, and much more to make this place your one-stop destination for sci-fi immersion. It will numb your mind with the number of conversations and quests there to spend your time on. Sadly, this hub world received a dramatic downsizing in Mass Effect 2. Here the hub world became about 10% of the original size, but it did get a more dense and detailed facelift for the areas that remained in the game. The shops now all had distinct and unique owners with amazing stories.
Imagine it, human. The break of day. You and your team have been stalking a Shafa for 5 days. In that time, it's killed 4 men. You see it? Line it up. Take the shot. Blam! It's down. You're the hero.
And allowed Shepard to try and convince them to give him a discount with his celeb status by stating,
"I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel."
Oh my! Excellent.
Splendid.
Somehow the shopkeepers never caught on to this, which could be due to them spending a little too much time indulging in the clubs nearby.
Hell yeah, put more of the stuff in the thing where stuff goes in.
Moving on to Mass Effect 3, the Citadel was significantly expanded upon compared to its counterpart in Mass Effect 2, but still a far cry from its original size in the first game. To be fair though, many did complain about how the first Citadel was poorly designed, and could feel a little empty. Now in Mass Effect 3, it had good size with tons of sections to explore within the area, packed to the brim with life, and included one of the best clubs of the entire series. Speaking of alien clubs, this was a fan favorite staple of the series that shined best in Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2, while not featuring any massive zones like the Citadel, at least compared to the first and third game, did include 4 equally sized hub worlds that made this universe feel like a truly living and breathing space, even when there was no quest to be had and no worlds needing saving. The spaces here in the game make you feel as if you were no longer peeking through a window, but there in person. In Mass Effect 2, the main areas included Omega, Ilium, the Citadel, and Tuchanka. We've already thoroughly explored the Citadel, so now we're going to delve deeper into the other areas, starting with my personal favorite, Omega. Omega is the Red City, built by criminals and mercenary gangs on an asteroid that is very much inspired by Blade Runner, and once again contains a variety of shops to visit, quests and missions to partake in, and unique personalities to meet and collide with.
That's close enough.
Given this area's deep criminal and mercenary roots, the residents of Omega are as likely to friend you as they are to betray you for a little extra coin. At least it had the best club in the game, and walking into it for the first time still remains one of my favorite moments in all of gaming. This isn't the only place in Mass Effect 2 with strong criminal underbellies. Ilium is the beautiful blue and purple city that looks like an upper-class location, with its large and tall sprawling buildings, which are found out to be so high as to avoid the hot ground. The occupation of skyscrapers allows the residents to avoid this dangerous heat, but the financial backing for such expensive structures comes from the fact that Ilium has many abusive labor practices and legalization of most explicit activities. In a sense, this place is just like Omega, but with a much prettier coat of paint. Last up for the hub worlds of the Mass Effect franchise is Tuchanka, the great homeworld of the Krogan. This hub world is far different from the others, as it is the only place that is in a melting pot of different species, and it doesn't look like a homeworld, but instead a planet of rubble and destruction. This planet has a very brown color tone to it, which fits perfectly with the setting, considering a nuclear war had fallen out, and you can truly tell the Krogan here are in a constant state of civil war. With hub worlds that are so painstakingly full of care and detail, is a story just as masterfully crafted, that is sure to captivate you from the first seconds of the trilogy and stay with you for as long as you can remember.
Don't you understand? You've lost everyone you know and love, everyone you've ever met. You will all die.
I will show you true power.
No more running and no more waiting. Let's hit them where they live.
If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
The story of the Mass Effect Trilogy is one more aspect of this franchise that is consistently great, and to this day still stands as the best narrative I've experienced in a game. However, while the plot in each entry in this trilogy is consistent in the quality of the story, the size, scope, and feel of each one is dramatically different across all three games. Mass Effect 1 feels like a mix of a TV show and a movie, where there are continuous conflicts between an antagonist and protagonist, the assembly and gathering of squad mates, political intrigue, mystery, and an obvious divide between who's good and who's bad. Mass Effect 2 plays out entirely like a TV show, taking the fan-favorite aspect of the first game, the crew and squad assembly, to a new level, and makes that the center part of the game. In Mass Effect 2, the story of impending doom is really only present at the beginning, middle, and end. Other than that though, the focus here very much relies on traveling the galaxy, to find the best potential allies the galaxy has to offer, and finding how to convince them to join your cause. While the second game is much more relaxed on the Reaper threat, the game does end on another critical plot point, setting up the all-out action war movie that is Mass Effect 3. The last game in the trilogy feels like a story ripped straight off the silver screen. This is what Game of Thrones fans wanted in Season 8 of the White Walkers. Here in Mass Effect, the endgame foes, the Reapers, are finally here, and waging war across the entirety of the Milky Way galaxy. And the weight of their power and seriousness of their threat is fully realized. And the only possible way the galaxy will have any chance of surviving this massacre is if every single species can put aside their differences, join forces, and fight for the survival of not just themselves, but every single life form. So now with this basic overview of each game's story, let's see what makes each one amazing.
This attack was an act of war. Zared's gone rogue.
Destroy the entire colony. Leave no evidence that we were here.
He has an army of Geth at his command. And he won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the face of the galaxy.
I'll find some way to take him down.
If we lose, it's the end of all life as we know it.
You have no idea what stands before you.
In the first Mass Effect, the story is simple at first, but the more you play it, the more that is unraveled to reveal many surprises and twists. You start the game off by making your Shepard, including the physical aspects such as male or female, customizing the face, as well as his or hers complicated background. And then you're thrown right into this world. Several hundred years in the future, humanity discovers ancient alien technology on Mars that accelerates our advancement in technology drastically, and opens up interstellar travel. Humanity joins the galactic community sometime afterwards, but they are seen as too ambitious in a galaxy run by the UN-like council that is populated by other races. It is up to Commander Shepard of the Advanced Human Alliance ship, the Normandy, to hunt down a Turian antagonist named Saren and his army of Geth after he attacks a human colony on Eden Prime. Along the way, you uncover truths and evidence about the once-thought myths, the Reapers, and learn of their quest to eliminate all organic life. This transforms the plot from a small-scale story to a galactic epic, as you zip around the galaxy in a sleek starship to explore alien worlds and unearth the overarching mystery of the Reapers, and find out how the rogue Spectre Saren and even the Geth play into their plan. The story of Mass Effect is filled with many friendships.
Last I heard, Fist still had her. Probably somewhere inside his club. You help me kill Fist, she's all yours.
Time we paid Fist a visit.
Betrayals.
Good job, Shepard. Thanks to you, the Council's finally taking real action against Saren.
Sovereign's the real threat.
Only you have seen the Reapers, and then only in visions.
We've locked out all the Normandy's primary systems until further notice you're grounded.
Politics.
You have to go to Ilos. You have to stop Saren from using the conduit.
Anderson, what are you doing?
Get us out of here, Joker, now!
I won't forget this, Captain. I promise.
Can't believe we stole the Normandy. I know we'll all be court-martialed if this doesn't work out, but part of me loves this.
And wonder.
You must break a cycle that has continued for millions of years. But to stop it, you must understand, or you will make the same mistakes we did. The Citadel is a trap. When the Citadel relay is activated, the Reapers will pour through, and all you know will be destroyed. That was our fate. Our leaders were dead before we even realized we were under attack.
This is very much an underdog story, as you take Shepard, a once normal soldier, and bring him into galactic fame as an ambassador of all races, that has the ability to lead and unite people together for a common cause, and an individual who is willing to sacrifice himself or herself for the greater good, of not just humanity, but all races. The story can also be slightly altered along the way, depending on several large decisions you make, that have no true good or bad option, but will allow you to express what kind of person you are, and whether you prioritize human life or alien life. These begin in the beginning of the game, and continue until the very end. Once the story had ended, one story-based expansion was released for the first game, called Bring Down the Sky. In this expansion, the exiled Batarian race make a return, and involves a plot to crash a giant asteroid into Terra Nova. However, the game's length and gameplay severely held this DLC back, with many claiming the only good part was at the end when you confront the Batarian extremist, who at this point in the story is a new foe for the players to fight. Once you finally meet Balak, you'll learn about the issues of the Batarian and human relationship, where the Council had seen more benefits in allying with the human alliance over the Batarians.
Trouble than you're worth.
I'm just getting started.
Predictable, but this is over. I'm leaving this asteroid. If you try to stop me, I'll detonate these charges, and your helper and her friends are all going to die.
You don't get to leave, Balak. Not after what you've done.
What I've done? This is nothing compared to what's been done to the Batarians. We've been forced into exile, forced to survive on what we can scrounge up. It's been like that for decades.
Don't make it sound like you're the innocent party here. You brought it upon yourselves.
Really? You invaded our space, took our resources, and when we asked the Council for aid, they brushed us off. We were left to defend ourselves, but the humans were stronger than us. We knew that. The Council knew that.
For all this DLC's shortcomings though, here BioWare had actually done a good job at making your character info count. For if you are a war hero, Balak has a grudge against you, but if you're ruthless, he'll tell you he's no different than you. And once you make the final decision in either letting him go, or to attack him, your choices will have consequences in the next game. Mass Effect 2 is easily one of the best stories written this generation, and what I think makes the story here stand out so much in the trilogy is how the game is much smaller in scale, but paced to perfection. The pacing of Mass Effect 2 is done more in line of a TV show rather than a long movie, and this format truly allows for the game to keep a constant momentum and keep the player engaged. The game starts out with a bang, with Commander Shepard being killed from a mysterious threat, and like any good leader, Shepard goes down with the ship. From here you can carry over your Shepard from the first game, or create a new one thanks to the Pro-Human Cerberus organization. They find your charred remains and spend billions of dollars over 2 years to make you come back just the way you were before death. Once brought back, you then get to meet a fan favorite character, the Elusive Man, voiced by the excellent Martin Sheen.
Commander Shepard.
Elusive Man. I thought we'd be meeting face to face.
A necessary precaution. Not unusual for people who know what you and I know.
And from him, you learn that 5 years had passed since you were technically dead, and that your Normandy crew has moved on and gone their separate ways. Long story short though, Cerberus is willing to put aside their human-first motto and work with other species because, as Cerberus knows, the Reapers are coming back to wipe out all biological life in the galaxy, and the only one who can truly stop them is you, Commander Shepard. Not because he or she possesses some secret weapon or power, but because you are the weapon. Your character has the ability to lead unlike any other, and you can unite people together for a cause, as well as convince them to put aside their differences. Throughout this game, you will see the results of your choices made from Mass Effect 1, including your romance choice, friendships made,
Urdnot must respond. Your reforms will not go unopposed. You risk appearing weak at a critical time, Shepard.
Good enough? Excuse me.
Out of my... Shepard! My friend.
and of course, whether you chose to let a species live or die.
Shepard, we hide, we borrow, we build, but we know that you seek those who soured the songs of our mothers.
Just when you think the story and choices couldn't get any more complex, you are once again presented with a colossal amount of new choices, both large and small, that will change the future of the series. These choices range from small decisions, such as what you say to different people, which in turn will affect how they treat you in the future.
What you said. I've never had anyone speak like that on my behalf. Thank you for being there for my father and me. Even when... Thank you.
We can still go back in and get you exiled if you want.
Thanks. But I'm fine with things like this. It's fun watching you shout.
To large ones, such as how to handle powerful technology that will change the galaxy's perception of Shepard. This all helps you to feel much more connected to the story than you may otherwise have been, as each player is able to have a unique experience.
Be so quick to discard this facility. Think of the potential.
We'll fight and win without it. I won't let fear compromise who I am.
Shepard, think about what's at stake, about everything Cerberus has done for you.
This personal experience is what makes it all the more brutal and hard to embrace. That Mass Effect 2's main goal in the story is a suicide mission. Shepard is instructed by the Cerberus leader, the Elusive Man, to assemble the galaxy's best and travel through the mysterious Omega-4 mass relay to pursue the collectors that have been abducting human colonies, including your own ship's crew, which made for a terrifying mission where you play as the pilot Joker instead of Shepard.
Joker! This deck is crawling with those things. Stay close, I'll protect you.
Traveling to the relay may hold the answer to preventing the Reaper invasion, but it also holds the lives of your crew. For this suicide mission to be a successful one, where everyone returns, every crewmate needs to be at their best. They have to fully trust you, and you have to have complete faith in your team.
I don't know what we're gonna find in there, but I won't lie to you. It's not gonna be easy. We've lost good people. We may lose more. We don't know how many the collectors have stolen. Thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's not important. What matters is this. Not one more. That's what we can do. Here, today. It ends with us. They want to know what we're made of? I say we show them, on our terms. Let's bring our people home.
This is accomplished throughout the game by completing a massive amount of squad recruitment missions for both returning characters
Shepard. I thought you were dead.
Garrus, what are you doing here?
Just keeping my skills sharp. A little target practice.
And new ones that bring new races to life.
This was to be my last job. I'm dying. Low survival odds don't concern me. The abduction of your colonists does.
As well as even allow some possible conflicts to arise.
Get on the team, but this is too much.
Tally, your father was running brutal experiments. If the subjects had been human, I'd damn well be telling the Alliance about it.
I know, but if the Geth find out...
They'd attack, which would cause a war that would leave both the Geth and the Quarians vulnerable when the Reapers show up. Is that what you want, Legion?
We believed it was necessary to relay the information.
Sooner or later, you're both gonna have to stop fighting this war. Or we'll all end up paying for it.
To facilitate unit cohesion, we will not transmit data regarding creator plans.
Thank you, Legion. I understand your intention. What if I gave you some non-classified data to send?
We would be grateful.
Every decision you make here will affect who lives and dies in this entry's highlight, and possibly one of the best missions ever designed in gaming. Mass Effect 2's conclusion is every bit as brutal and personal as one could hope for, taking into account all your actions from start to finish. The final act can completely change, depending on the preparation and choices of the player. If you choose to go into battle without upgraded shields on the Normandy, then a crew member could die before the suicide mission even begins. Send the wrong character back to help escort survivors, they won't return. Depend on a character that isn't loyal to you, they won't make it.
Suit ruptures! Too many! Kilos fly.
Mass Effect 2 is like a game of chess. All moves lead to an eventual outcome. If you made a lot of mistakes and didn't bond your team together, then it's checkmate and they're all dead, including Shepard.
How is my ship?
Feels a little empty, sir.
Shepard leaves a considerable void.
But Shepard's dead. What are we supposed to do?
We go on. This was a victory. Humanity will persevere. We are nothing if not resilient.
Hopefully though, the player makes intelligent decisions throughout this game to achieve a preferable ending. It is also during this mission that you learn the Collectors have actually been under the control of the Reapers, much like the Geth in Mass Effect 1, and that the leader of the Reapers, Harbinger, has indoctrinated them and was using the kidnapped humans to try and design a human Reaper, and that they are in fact coming to the galaxy to wipe out all life.
Did the ground team make it?
All survivors on board. We're just waiting for you.
Human, you've changed nothing. Your species has the attention of those infinitely or greater. That which you know as Reapers are your salvation through destruction.
Once the second act of the trilogy eventually reaches its end, you'll be able to continue the narrative in 4 expansions that are all great, but widely different in their experience and narrative importance. Starting small is the extra squadmate DLC, called Kasumi's Stolen Memory. This DLC was horribly short, but its quality was amazing, and it provided a very different experience. Keeping in tune with the majority of the narrative of Mass Effect 2, this DLC has to perform a recruitment mission for a master thief called Kasumi. Here you get to act like James Bond, and infiltrate the vault of a deadly master criminal, so that you can recover an object of great importance to Kasumi. This DLC is one of my personal favorites, as exploring for clues to gain access to the vault both from the lobby.
There he is. All you need to do is keep him talking long enough for me to get a voice print. Pull out the charm on this one, Shep. Whenever you're ready.
After you.
Mr. Gunn, hope you're having a good time. That scene at the door hasn't soured your evening, I hope.
I understand the security, but who would dare try to break into Donovan Hawk's home?
and in the criminal's bedroom was a ton of fun.
Empty. Too bad. A cigarette butt would have been a good source. Not a great saliva sample, but it's still useful. We're going to need more than this for the scanner, though.
The music and vistas of this DLC also helped it make it feel like another planet that fans could picture themselves living on. Moving on to the next squadmate focused DLC is the fan favorite, Lair of the Shadow Broker. This expansion allowed for fans to hang out more with Liara. As a friend,
You're here to help. Just like always.
That's not a good thing?
When we first met on Therum, you saved me from the Geth. You fought a Krogan battlemaster while I cowered. Now you're doing it again. And I'm still leaning on you for help.
That's what friends do, Liara.
or as a lover.
Get in, get Farron, get out. And kill anyone who tries to stop us.
That's it?
That's it.
Will you just stop for a second? We'll be jumping several light years. There's time to talk.
About what?
About us.
Shepard, listen, I'm glad you're here.
Are you worried there might be terminals you need me to hack?
That's not fair. You were dead.
I came back.
It's not that easy. You can't just come back and have 2 years of mourning suddenly vanish. I'm sorry, Shepard. I can't get into this. For now, let's just focus on getting Farron back.
While also exploring more of Ilium, and even the base of a powerful person called the Shadow Broker. This DLC was rather massive, as it allowed the player to learn a lot about the time between their death and give Liara a chance to become an incredibly powerful ally, in time for the Reaper invasion. This DLC expanded the world of Mass Effect, while also offering more choices to influence the ever-expanding story.
Tell me more about Project Overlord. You owe us that explanation.
This is Project Overlord, an attempt to gain influence over the Geth by interfacing a human mind with a VI.
Next up is a small narrative-focused DLC called Overlord, where Shepard is sent to investigate a Cerberus research base that's mysteriously gone silent. Once there, Shepard arrives to find Geth overrunning the base, and you learn that an experiment had gone horribly wrong, in an attempt to fuse a human volunteer with a virtual intelligence into a hybrid called Overlord. This hybrid, though, has attacked other Cerberus bases and even tried to break free and unleash more Geth. Throughout this expansion, you learn that the Elusive Man had started this project to try and exploit the Geth's religious tendencies, and that the human incorporated into the VI is the sole survivor's brother.
Who gave you the right to play God?
People who are too afraid to make difficult decisions themselves. When they pray for a miracle, they're really praying for men like me to make the tough choices. If my work spares 1 million mothers mourning the loss of 1 million sons, my conscience will rest easy.
Look at him. Your brother will never be the same.
You get to decide who should handle this project, and that in turn will affect if this project is decommissioned or not.
I've seen enough of your cruelty to know he'll never be free from it here. I'm taking him away.
No, leave him! He's too valuable!
You even think about coming after your brother, and this bullet will be waiting for you. Then we'll see who's valuable.
Where will you take him?
Grissom Academy. They can help special cases like David, minus the torture.
Kenson found evidence of an imminent Reaper invasion. I need you to infiltrate the prison and get her out of there.
The last expansion of Mass Effect 2 is the most important story-wise, as Admiral Hackett of the Human Alliance asked Shepard to infiltrate a Batarian outpost and rescue Dr. Kenson, who is a deep cover operative, and claims to have undeniable proof of the Reaper invasion. This proof is needed since much of the galaxy still doesn't believe that the Reapers exist. Throughout this expansion, lots of important galaxy-altering information is learned, mainly that the mass relay in this system is a launching point for the Reaper invasion, as the Reapers can use the relay to launch anywhere in the galaxy, and that the Reapers are only 2 days away from the system. Therefore, destroying the relay is of critical importance, and can be done by ramming the base into the relay, which in turn would delay the Reaper invasion by months or longer. but destroying a relay releases so much energy that the entire system will be wiped out. This means all 300,000 Batarian colonists will be killed from the blast. After being knocked up by Kenton and the staff, and learning the humans were indoctrinated by the Reaper the whole time, Shepard has mere hours to destroy the relay before the Reapers arrive. Once Shepard finishes off the last of the guards and is about to escape, Harbinger shows up once more to tell Shepard he is merely delaying the inevitable.
Shepard, you have become an annoyance. You fight against inevitability, dust struggling against cosmic winds. This seems a victory to you, a star system sacrificed. But even now, your greatest civilizations are doomed to fall. Your leaders will beg to serve us.
Maybe you're right. Maybe we can't win this. But we'll fight you regardless. Just like we did Sovereign. Just like I'm doing now. However insignificant we might be. We will fight, we will sacrifice, and we will find a way. That's what humans do.
Know this as you die in vain. Your time will come. Your species will fall. Prepare yourselves for the arrival.
Once the relay is destroyed along with the system, Shepard has to explain the events that just transpired to a very confused Hackett. After all, Shepard was sent to rescue one scientist and in return destroyed an entire system and 300,000 Batarians.
All I know is I sent you out there to break Amanda Kenson out of prison. And now an entire system is destroyed. I hope you could fill in the leap of logic between those two events. Do whatever you have to do out here. But when Earth calls, you make sure you're there with your dress blues on, ready to take the hit. In the meantime, you keep this. I don't need to see a report to know you did the right thing.
Hackett eventually understands what had to be done, but instructs Shepard he will have to go to Earth and stand trial for his actions as a full investigation takes place. This leads right into the story of Mass Effect 3. In Mass Effect 3, this is it. The Reapers are finally here, and no place in the galaxy is safe from them. In this last entry in the story, the Reapers are no longer a myth, and their presence is felt across the entire galaxy. It is up to you, Commander Shepard, to build a weapon capable of destroying the Reapers, and gather the largest fleet possible to have even the slightest chance of stopping them. The story plays out like the greatest epic to ever hit the silver screen, with galactic battles, and the conclusions of many story arcs that have spanned the entirety of the trilogy. To top it all off, all the choices made through the previous two games, and their expansions, will have their consequences shown off here. Starting off though, on the greatness of Mass Effect 3's story, is how BioWare makes the entire galaxy feel like it's at war with the endgame foes, something Game of Thrones missed out on. In this game, you finally get to visit the long-awaited homeworlds of so many races, but these worlds are no longer the thriving metropolises that we had heard so much about. From the game's opening moments on Earth, during Shepard's trial, you experience the power of the Reapers, and how they are truly a force that would be almost impossible to stop. This war will truly be a nightmare. After the horrible realization that Earth has become the headquarters of the Reaper invasion, Shepard understands that he must leave Earth and find a way to stop the Reapers by constructing a weapon. A crucible that was supposedly a planned project from the Protheans that is capable of stopping the Reaper invasion. While doing so, Admiral Hackett instructs you to rally all the races of the galaxy and unite them together, because only as a combined force can the Reapers possibly be defeated. These two objectives lead you across the galaxy to the homeworlds of the Turians, Krogan, Quarians, and Asari. However, when you visit these locations, it is not the great cultural and prosperous experience that many have hoped for. The Reapers may have had their largest invasion on Earth, but all species and all planets are under attack. Palaven, the home of the Turians, Tuchanka, the home of the Krogan, Rannoch, the home of the Quarians, and finally, Thessia, the home of the Asari. When visiting each location, the horrors of war are easily seen and felt. The amount of destruction you witness, and the sorrow seen by squad mates who used to live there or are seeing their kind slaughtered, will bring out emotions in any player, and help cement the need to unite everyone and build a crucible to stop this terror. However, uniting the galaxy and forcing different species to end lifelong quarrels with each other is harder said than done, but the way this game concludes these arcs and the manner in which they are presented is beautifully done. The largest quarrels that existed in Mass Effect involved the genophage of the Krogan and the conflict between the Geth and the Quarians. The genophage of the Krogan was introduced in Mass Effect 1 and continued in Mass Effect 2. It involved an infection implemented into the Krogan by Solarians and Turians to control how fast the Krogan could breed. This was due to their incredible strength, large and fast reproductive cycle, and their aggressive nature. The genophage made it to where only 1 out of every 1,000 Krogan born would live. In Mass Effect 3, depending on what you choose, you can finally cure the Krogan genophage, and allow the Krogan to return to their full strength under the new leadership of Urdnot Rex, and the female Krogan Eve. This resolution to curing the genophage is something fans waited a long time for, and the whole mission is done spectacularly with the music, the dialogue, and of course, the battle with the giant Thresher Maw, Kalros. This was a moment many tout as a highlight in the series. Not only did all the player actions influence who is present in the mission, introduced an amazing strong female character who is a leader I would gladly follow.
You can stay here and let old wounds fester as Krogan have always done. Or you can fight the enemy you were born to destroy, and win a new future for our children. I choose to fight. Who will join me?
I will.
And so will I. Now hold your heads high like true Krogan. There's a Reaper that needs killing!
It also would affect if a character would live or die, as well as determine if a species would go extinct.
Classic bypass. Standard failsafes. Excellent work. Yes, yes.
Temperature now within acceptable range. Dispersal commencing.
Genophage cured. Krogan free. New beginning. For all of us.
This same level of important decision-making was present in the other main conflict between the Geth and the Quarians. In previous Mass Effect games, you learned the Quarians created the Geth, and not long afterwards, the Geth began to become sentient and question their creators. Once this began to happen, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them, resulting in a war for Rannoch. The Geth won the war and reduced the Quarians to a race of nomads living in colony ships in space. In Mass Effect 3, the Quarians decided to bring their whole fleet to Rannoch and try and reclaim their home from the Geth, who at this point are still controlled by the Reapers. After killing a Reaper, you can decide whether to exterminate the Geth, exterminate the Quarians, or if you have a high enough Paragon or Renegade, you can convince the two species to enter into peace with one another.
Uploading. 10%.
This is Admiral Talizora. All units, break off your attack.
Belay that order. Continue the attack.
20%.
I beg you, do not do this. Please.
We regret the deaths of the creators. We see no alternative.
The music during the decision for this part complemented the tension here brilliantly. Sadly, once again there is no way to get a completely happy ending, as whatever happens, one or more of your favorite characters will meet their demise here.
Error. Copying code is insufficient. Direct personality dissemination required. Shepard Commander, I must go to them. I'm sorry. It's the only way.
Legion, the answer to your question was yes.
I know, Tali. But thank you. Keyless and I.
Once the species have united, and you have successfully amassed the largest fleet of all time, and seeing your hard work finally pay off in the last battle at Earth is truly a sight to see. The story of the endgame space battle and the battles on Earth are all influenced from your decisions, and they are spectacularly done. It seems like this game is firing on all cylinders, and you're experiencing the simple greatest conclusion to a story ever created. That is, until the last 10 minutes of the game. The ending of Mass Effect 3 is widely known amongst the gaming culture. For a franchise that depends so much on personal choice and decisions to influence how the story plays out, the story originally consisted of basically just what color you wanted. It was an ending that betrayed the series and what BioWare had created. It was also one of the first times that there was such a large outcry from fans. While some people try and claim that art should never be changed, or that writers should subvert fan expectations, well, to that answer, fans would welcome surprising story details and deaths. But subverting expectations by destroying consistency and making something awful and void of choice, instead of ending where the players feel it was earned for all their efforts, is not a good way to end such a masterpiece. Thankfully, BioWare did release an extended cut ending, which did make the three endings greatly different in comparison to the originals, and even added an option where the Crucible is not used. And instead the sheer force of the amassed fleet will be the deciding factor of whether or not the Reapers win or lose. For me and many others, the control option is not the most favorable, as it simply distributes Shepard's consciousness into the Reapers, but we all have our devils inside of us, so it's not known exactly how the Reapers would act over time. The convergence option is seen as the best option, as it converges all life together into each and every individual, allowing all life to feel and understand each other. But once again for me, this ruins diversity and independence. I think Shepard and many others would agree that we should celebrate our differences and allow everyone to remain as themselves. Yes, there will be quarrels from time to time, but that's just how life is. And as always, it will resolve itself, and there will be lessons learned from the experience. The destroy option was the obvious fan favorite, as it destroyed the Reaper threat and allowed everyone to keep their independence. However, this method would also involve wiping out the Geth, who depending on the player choices, could have become good as well, and joined the fight against the Reapers. The only option that didn't wipe out a specific species, and allowed the Geth to remain alive, is the option where the Crucible is not used. But, regardless of the size of the fleet, the option always ends in everyone dying. Instead of having a varying ending depending on player choices, it would have been nice to see this ending reflect the fleet size, and make it to where if you had amassed the largest force possible, then it would have been possible to win, while still sustaining monumental losses. The story here ends despite what option you pick, meaning that all DLC and expansions of Mass Effect 3 have to be played before the ending of the story, which is why I will cover the DLC of Mass Effect 3 in a separate section. Regardless of how players felt with the ending, and while it is still debatable whether it was enough to meet the extremely high standard of the series, it can't be denied that by the time the ending screens are shown, the music begins to play, and the credits roll, you realize you just experienced one of the best stories and became immersed in one of the most amazing and incredible worlds ever created, making the Mass Effect Trilogy one of the best trilogies of all time.